Hello, boys and girls, men and women, and everything in between that. Welcome to the Celebrity Chat Room. I'm your hostess, BeBe Sweetbriar, and today I'd like to share with you a recent conversation that I had with one of the gay community's biggest activists, as well as one of our most talented members, who is an award-winning playwright. He's a screenwriter, film director, and a show producer. I had a conversation with Dale Shores. In this conversation, we spend some time talking about his upcoming show here in San Francisco at the Raz Room on November 2nd. We also spent some time talking about the screenings that are now happening with his latest movie, which is an adaptation from one of his plays. We also spent some time talking about his wonderful DVD, a live taping of his stand-up comedy act. And then we also spend a little bit of time reviewing his marriage and divorce to fellow actor Jason Dolley. So I give you my conversation with Dale Shores.
Hello, BB.
Hello there, Dale. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Well, I'm speaking with you, love. And I did want to say congratulations on the release of your latest DVD called Sordid Confession.
Oh, I'm so happy with these reviews. I just was shocked. I was like, it got better reviews than my first one, which did really well. But this one is like, I think people just like film.
Okay, and who better to deliver it than you, right?
Right?
Well, I
like
do know.
no holds bar kind of approach that I had just gone through this breakup, and it was like, I don't give a fuck, you know? And I just walked out on that stage and did it, and it came out so good. I'm really happy with it.
I think it's been almost really like maybe a year, a little bit more than a year since the last time I interviewed you, and a lot has happened in that period of time with you, and so I do kind of want to kind of revisit some of that stuff and also follow up on a few things that we talked about last time. But but you did bring up the fact that you have gone through a divorce in the last 12 months since the last time I spoke to you. And one thing that I thought was kind of interesting from your DVD is you don't spend a lot of time on that subject, which I think many people might think that you would have.
Well, honey, wait till you see the new show. It was too fresh when that one came, but this new one, it's got a whole section.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you have a follow-up coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm filming my new one. The one that I'm doing at the Raz Room is called Naked Sordid Reality.
Okay.
And that's my very last show, actually, San Francisco. That's my last show on this tour. It will be my 40th show.
Wow.
And then I'm going to do a tour. Well, it's really, I'm doing one more show on a cruise. They're paying me to. I love that they pay me to go on a cruise.
Isn't that wonderful?
What's that?
Isn't that wonderful?
It's so great. And I have to perform like once and show Sordid Lives and host that once, and it's just great. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it on the cruise, this Aquafest cruise, and then in February 1st, actually, I'm returning to the Rose Room in Dallas, and I love filming Sordid Confessions there, and I'm going to film this one as well. And yeah, but I certainly don't shy away from what I went through.
Well, and the thing about it is part of your naked reality, right? I mean, if you want
That's exactly right.
You
and
know
I
it
say
is.
That. I said, it's the symbolism is that that I expose myself.
Exactly.
And I've always been that person who exposes my truth and my life, and I usually get in a little trouble, but that's just what happens,
Well, it's kind of interesting because you say that as like that has been. I mean, I think somewhat. I mean, if we want to say there's a niche to what you do, I think it would be the fact that you really do. You are very vulnerable in how you perform your comedy because it is about all the things that you've gone through, experienced, good, bad, or indifferent.
Well, it's I'm not a traditional comic in that I stand up and tell jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I tell stories,
Mm-hmm.
and usually the stories relate to my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I write what I know, and I spew what I know. So, and of course I have a lot of opinions, as you know. So I also have to express those. I like to write letters to some people and read them for my audience, and those always go over well. I have some really fun letters this time to Gingrich and Kirk Cameron,
Yeah.
and last time it was Victoria Jackson.
Yeah, so in this show, and you also hit upon our wonderful Palin as well. So in this new show that you're doing here, coming up as you said, I think on November 2nd at the Raz Room here in San Francisco. Who are some of your noted celebrities that you hit upon that are different from before?
Well, like I said, Newt Gingrich and Kirk Cameron. I don't, in this show, I don't go after so many celebrities like I did in my previous show,
Mm-hmm.
where the ones that I've worked with that misbehaved or whatever. I'm sort of done with that until I work with another bitch or asshole, and then I'll add that. But so I haven't really worked with any new bitches or assholes since my last show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I haven't been, so I didn't include any of that. But I have, I really start with, I'm a Southern Baptist preacher's kid, so I start with a little bit about the church. I tell a very, very screwed up church story that happened in my dad's church, and I talk about my real aunt who I went to visit and had a great visit with, and the audience loves that part of the show. The reality part of the show is I'm obsessed with reality shows, so I act out a couple of scenes from a couple of reality shows. I do a scene from Hoarders, and I play all the characters, BeBe, because I want people to know what kind of range I have as an actor. I'm just hoping a producer is in the audience and will cast me as Dr. Bob Sazio or something. And it's not impossible because you can drag.
Right, exactly.
And I've got very high cheekbones. I'm very pretty.
Very pretty.
I'm a very pretty middle-aged woman.
Well, speaking of acting and film, you do have a project that I know that you have completed on the screen that we're just waiting for it to actually come out in theaters, and that is your production in film version of your play, The Trials and Tribulations of a Trailer Trash Housewife. And I know you had finished up filming on that, and so where are we in relation to actually getting that on the screen?
Well, it is on the screen right now. It's very limited, but it was in LA.
Mm-hmm.
It's now running in Palm Springs. It opens in Dallas next week. And we're actually working with a distribution company called TUGG, T-U-G-G, that it's one screening per city, so it really gives you exposure to the film, and it's just sort of a new and unique way to do it with this social networking and Facebook and Twitter and all of that. And right now, I'm not sure. I don't know. I was just talking to Emerson Collins, one of the producers, my producing partner. I was saying, San Francisco is always such a challenge for me. I don't know what that's about. I mean, with the series, of course, we packed the Castro when we did that, but I'm doing much better this time with my stand-up. But we're supposed to have a screening of Blues for Willowdene on the 3rd. On the 1st.
Okay.
But we have to have a certain amount of tickets that are committed to, and it's just not doing that great. I don't know what that is about, and because it's flying in Austin really well. I do really well in the southern states.
Right, exactly.
And I think also sometimes it's harder with New York, San Francisco, even Los Angeles, because there's just so much to do.
Right, exactly. And those are artsy cities where they are inundated with a lot of screenings and whatnot on a regular basis. But in this particular film, you've got some really pretty big heavy hitters in it, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
do. I have, Octavia Spencer's in it, Beth Grant is in it, Del Dickey's in it, Eddie Holiday, and David Steen, who is, he's about to be in, or he's already filmed it. It's Quentin Tarantino's new film.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I have a great cast. It's a wonderful story. It's a tragic story, but it's about domestic violence, and I'm very proud of the film. I think it's a very true adaptation to the play. We changed the name because a lot of people were misled by the tone. Even more so than the play, this movie is very graphic with the domestic violence, but it's victorious, and it's a woman's journey trying to do better and trying to get out of this prison, if you will. And I'm really proud of it. I have this crazy career where I stand up and talk dirty, and then I do this sometimes comedies with serious subjects, or sometimes more of a tragic comedy, and so that's what I'm doing. Or that's what I did with the Willoughby, and I'm very proud of it. And the performances are spectacular. They really are.
Well, the films in which you have even produced in the past, or even plays and whatnot, it has always been that you have been able to attract some of the A-list actors out there for your projects, and that has to speak to their respect for your writing and your directing.
It's just so flattering to me when, because I have to say, there's so many times in my career where I've hesitated. And I go, I don't have any money. I don't have any money to offer them for this project, but God, I want Rue McClanahan. Okay, I'm going to send it to her manager, or with Delta Burke and Sordid Lives
and Beau Bridges.
And Beau Bridges, who's my buddy, and he's such a good man. He's introducing me as a benefit this next week when I just wrote a little play for Family Equality that we have this crazy star-studded cast here in LA. They're working for nothing for me. For one night, Beau Bridges, Bonnie Bedelia, Caroline Ray, Dale Dickey, Bobby Eakes, David Steen, Rosemary Alexander, and Ann Walker, and Susan Leslie. It's just a really great. And Coco Peru's doing it for me.
Oh, love her.
So I do too. Love Coco. So I think we all. It's not just actors, but we all want to do good work, and so that's the attraction, because I'm so indie sort of in my approach to filmmaking.
Yeah.
There's a niche quality to some of it, but I've been very, very fortunate to work with some amazing people.